Welcome, this is Raphael.
And Catalina.
You are now about to take your next step in the serenity centering journey. Welcome to the serenity centering journey. We have the quote of the day. Catalina?
So today's quote comes from a book called Wind in the Door, and it's from one of the key characters named Progo. And it says, if someone knows who he is, really knows, then he doesn't need to hate. Love, that's what makes persons know who they are.
Wow. If someone knows who he really is, really knows, then he doesn't have to hate. Love is what makes a person know who they really are. I like how it talks about, at my essence, at least for me, when I hear it and interiorize it, means if I truly know the deepest parts within myself, I'll find love. And I think love to me is a universal language, which is really appropriate because we talk a lot about the human experience. There's different religions, politics, so many things that separate us from our uniqueness, but as from far our humanity, we all have a need to be loved. Love is so important, to experience love. So if that is so important, it's something we need to think about and spend more time, I believe, prioritizing and cultivating. How do we grow in love? Self-love. I remember this whole idea of self-love as a negative thing growing up, with some really twisted beliefs where people would associate self-care and self-love with selfishness, which is the furthest thing from the truth in my understanding today. So how do we grow in self-love, learning to love oneself? We talked about that in the last quote about love your neighbor as yourself, which talks about a prerequisite. I have to learn how to love myself. The measure with which I love myself is the measure with which I can love another. And how do we grow with loving our neighbor and having respect? Like all the attributes that come from love. That's what fills me with that. If I have that, I don't have to hate anyone. It's really beautiful, really powerful quote. Your thoughts, Catalina?
Yeah, I think that what came to mind for me is that hate often comes from a place of lacking. And so if I'm hating someone and I'm feeling these strong negative feelings towards a person because of something they feel or because of something they've said or believe or even something they've done, there's something going on inside of me. There's fear, there's anger, there's frustration, there's some sort of lacking in me. It's not coming from a place of love. And so it's a great reminder to, when I feel those feelings come up, to stop, to pause for a moment, and to really try to understand myself of where that's coming from, what's lacking in me, that I want to feel peace. I want to reach that state where no matter what's going on around me, that I can feel peace. And I think it's possible. I have never achieved that, but I think it's possible, and I think that's what we're striving for here at the Serenity Centering Journey, is a journey towards that state of serenity no matter what. And so this quote, I think, speaks directly to that, of understanding ourselves and understanding when there's nothing wrong when those feelings come up. They're not good, they're not bad, they're just feelings. But what's going on inside of me when that comes up, and what's my part in, do I need to affirm myself? Do I need to talk with someone that cares about me? Like, what do I need to be at a more whole place, come from not a place of lacking, but a place of overfill, a place of serenity?
I love that, Catalina. Speaking about the insecurity within us that would contribute to this not feeling right. And when I don't feel right, then I'm looking for differences, etc., etc. So cultivating that peace and that love within, and you think about the name of our podcast, the serenity centering journey, the journey towards a deeper serenity and a deeper centering of oneself within that love within. The deeper I understand that love in the universe around me, a deeper respect for the humanity and the uniqueness of others and my own uniqueness, the deeper I'm moving towards that journey. And I think it really is a journey, and it really is a process, and it's filled with many different mistakes, but we can learn from it, we can reflect on it, and we can grow. And there's so many other dynamic, powerful people who we can also learn from. Leaders, Viktor Frankl, Martin Luther King, Gandhi, stories from the Bible, just some heroic people. That's just to name a few that we can learn from, and we can learn from our own experiences, which is fantastic. What other thoughts do you have, Catalina?
Well, I have a couple of questions for our listeners that might be great reflective questions. Number one is, do I feel like I know myself well? Do I feel like there are any other areas of myself that I don't know myself very well, that I need to get to know myself better? Do I have anybody that I feel strong negative feelings for? And do I want to dive into maybe some of those strong feelings to explore and see if I can reach a place of serenity? And then lastly, what can I do to take care of myself when I feel disturbed and not at peace, to get myself back to a place of serenity?
I love that. I love everything you said, especially the last line, because that is it. We're never going to we don't just arrive at this perfect serenity, this perfect place. Life is challenging, and we're human beings. We're not robots. So we're forever going to be challenged, and there's going to be trials and errors that we go through, difficult times, curveballs, fastballs, things that take us by surprise, and we're going to be thrown off the beam a little bit, sometimes, a lot of bit other times. But how quickly can we take care of ourselves? Just like little kids, when we scrape our knees, we, take care of ourselves, hopefully. And if we've had loving parents, those loving parents work to take care of ourselves. I like what you say about paying attention to that. Also, I love that line, if I'm disturbed, there's something wrong with me. Meaning if somebody is doing something that's bothering me, there's some part that's wrong with me in my thinking. So if I feel any hate, it does me a lot of good to examine why I feel that hate. Don't just take the feeling of anger at its surface value. And I love the idea today, and I had a very difficult time and still do. I have not arrived in this area, that our feelings and our emotions are important messengers. They're not out to hurt us or make us to act impulsively or to keep us enslaved or to make us depressed, but they're messengers. And, who's serving who? Is my brain a servant of my heart, or is my heart enslaved to my instincts and brain? So there's a relationship and a partnership with the heart and the brain that I believe when I feel an emotion, I can examine it compassionately, non-judgmentally, and kind of understand what's really going on here and what's my part. Because I've had people tell me, hey, what you hate in that other person, and not the word hate, but what bothers you about that person, you might not like some things that's going on inside of you that other person's reflecting. I'm very quick to judge, and judging is a defense mechanism. So if we can get centered and be in a peaceful state, a serene, centered state, we can actually go deeper instead of being at the surface like immature kids or bullies who just demonize each other. I love your questions, and I thought this was a good breakdown.
I hope all of our listeners have a peaceful day.
I hope the same, but I hope more than you. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll have more quotes coming soon, and we appreciate you. Let us know your thoughts. These are our ideas, Remember, Catalina and I like to say we're two bozos on the bus. We're not gurus, but we're sharing our experience, and we want to hear your experience, what you relate with, what you don't relate with. We appreciate you all. Until next time, thank you for taking another step in the serenity centering journey. As always, take what you like and leave the rest. Until the next episode, make sure you enjoy each step of the journey. Peace.